A Boy's Life, Memories of Salado and Bell County, Texas, 1901 to 1914. First, a quick note. You'll be watching video recorded in and around Salado, and you'll hear text pulled from the book Choice and Chance, the autobiography of retired and now deceased Air Force Major General Thomas Randall Rampy. His grandsons, Jeff, Bruce, Grant, and Wyatt Rampy, used Choice and Chance as a kind of guide during their February 2024 visit to the family's old stomping grounds.
You want to stop and go up College Hill while we're here?
Sure. The words of T.R. Rampy. My memory goes back to around age 4, to growing with my brothers and sisters among farm animals and other living things. My mother went to a small country school to about the 4th grade, and she read to us children as she had opportunity. Father didn't go to school enough to learn to read and write, but he had a good, strong mind and was a good listener. He tried to absorb as much as he could from others' oral communication. While Mother would be busy about the house, I can recall 2 of us boys sitting on Father's knees as he pointed to the letters of the alphabet and numerals in the newspaper. His speech was that of the eastern Alabama Hill people where he was born and lived until he was about 14. He had quite a drawl, in contrast to Mother's rather quick Texas tempo. We kids were fortunate to have parents who realized the need for schooling and who desired that we obtain more than they had. One Saturday night shortly before school was to begin, Father brought home a Mexican burro named Incas from nearby Belton, a sturdy, well-built donkey with reddish hair, a fat, round neck, and broad back. We had a lot of excitement learning to ride him, and then the big day arrived. The entire family helped me get off with a satchel containing my lunch and my books slung over my shoulder. My brother Henry and I rode Incas to school at Salado until our sister Leela joined us in the fall of 1910, and then we 3 went by buggy. I earned my transfer tuition by sweeping floors and cleaning blackboards in the classroom, and I began to read all the books I could lay my hands on. Despite Father's lack of schooling, or perhaps because of it, he wanted his children to get a good education, with the hope, he told me, that we might avoid the drudgery and insecurity he was experiencing as a tenant farmer, that is, a sharecropper. There were times when I was alone with my thoughts, and I dreamed there was something I could somehow find to do in life that would not involve the uncertainty and meager financial reward of farming as I had experienced it. My dreams weren't definite because there was no visible means of accomplishing them, but I went on working in the face of reality and the circumstances I hoped someday to conquer. In September 1912, I entered Thomas Arnold High School, a private institution operated by Dr. S.J. Jones, as a successor school to the original Salado College, founded in 1859. The tuition, about $50 a year. Consider this passage from Judge Tyler's History of Bell County. The Thomas Arnold was distinguished not only by the high standards and excellent quality of its work, but also by the rare personality of its founder and head, Dr. Jones. Those who did not know him well thought him eccentric, but they saw only the surface mannerisms. Of short, compact figure with noble head and eyes of a poet, he added to an exact and wide learning an abundance of common sense and kindliness. He taught Latin and Greek. He managed to make those dead languages live again for his students. It may be said of him that he made many of the men and women who made Texas. Again, T.R. Rampy. It was a privilege for me to attend this school and study directly under Dr. Jones. My other teachers were likewise outstanding in their respective fields. After Thomas Arnold closed, there was much talk in the community about the prospect of someone taking over the building and establishing another high school. By midsummer, the trustees leased the facilities to Professor W.V. Doyle, who agreed to operate under the original name of Salado College. Doyle's hurried solicitation resulted in the enrollment of some 50 or 60 students, I among them. He rented a large house where several students could be accommodated with room and board. A few other families in the village also arranged to take in boarders. My teacher, Miss Alice, from earlier years, suggested I go and live with her parents in Salado and perform various chores for them in lieu of paying board. Again, from History of Bell County. The good people of the town opened their homes, and thus a wholesome home influence was enjoyed by all. Additionally, the founders of the college were determined that no avoidable temptation should surround the students of the school. T.R. Rampy. In the little room at the Rogers house that was assigned to me, there was no stove for heat, so on cold winter evenings, Mr. and Mrs. Rogers asked me into their combination bedroom and sitting room where there was a stove, and there I sat and studied. Yes, it was by the light of a kerosene lamp. In my room, I found and studied a 5-volume self-teaching bookkeeping course, and this was my introduction to what became my vocation, the field of accounting and finance. The Rogers place was about a half-mile north of the college, both being on the main street, and my daily walks to and from school took me past the business places, like Dad Smith's Cafe, where we students met to eat chili at 10 cents a bowl. The college building was diagonally across and up the hill from the Stagecoach Inn, and I recall well that all were in school because they wanted to be there. There were absolutely no distractions to keep us from studying as much as we wished. I studied and learned quickly, making grades that were good but which should have been better. Looking back, I sometimes wonder whether I've repaid the kindness bestowed on me by the Rogers, my parents, my teachers, in fact by so many over the course of my life. At the same time, I've come to realize that human destiny is not foreordained, but that each day is a new beginning where choice and chance conspire to make us who we are.
The fact that if Grandpa's parents had not been located physically within 4 miles, literally, 4 miles of Salado, his life would have been completely different because he would not have been able to attend Salado College, and for all we know, he might not have been located even near a school like Amity School, or had a friend like Miss Rogers and the Rogers family who enabled him to get an outstanding education. It made all the difference.
It's really, really interesting to think of the number of times Grandpa walked up those steps right there.
So Grandpa's book, Choice and Chance, is something that we treasure. This is choice and chance together. By chance, he was born at exactly the right place, but by choice, he wanted to better himself and got the education he needed on his own initiative, and then look at where that took him.
There's another factor, and that is Grandpa's parents sacrificed to give him and his siblings a great education, and so did the neighbors and the friends. Again, his father knew he wanted the children to be able to have a better life, and he paid private school tuition. The book says that he bought them a buggy to be able to get to school at a time when they were in debt and they couldn't afford it.
We read that Salado, the town, made that school the center of its cultural life. The people who were taking in the boarders, like Grandpa, sacrificed.
Grandpa was Grandpa. He was made of stuff that demanded that he excel. And he was going to excel wherever he went. The fact that he started here in Salado was terrific. There were advantages here in Salado that he capitalized on. But Grandpa was going to be somebody somewhere.